I'm Rachel Nichols, and we've jumped into the studio so I can visit with Oscar-nominated documentarian Morgan Spurlock. You know, every Sunday here on CNN, Morgan's show Inside Man gives you the feeling of what it's like to actually participate in all kinds of aspects of American life. And this week, he's looking at college athletes and whether they should be paid. As usual, he's willing to suffer for his art. Take a peek.
Morty, you all right? You all right?
I'm all right. All right.
You all right? You have flashes?
Got a tingle all down my arm, but I'm all right.
That goes away in period 5.
I'm gonna feel that in the morning. And probably for many mornings after that as well. I got clocked. Got hit so hard. Got knocked right on my backside. Birds flying.
Morty, you all right?
Welcoming in Morgan now. And Morgan, I'm just going to say it. That looked like it hurt.
You know, just when you think, you have some athletic ability, that you're not too old, along come some guys like this to absolutely prove you wrong.
Absolutely. Now, that video was of you embedding yourself with the Ole Miss football team. And what did spending time in literally those players' actual shoes tell you and teach you that you wouldn't have known just as a sports fan?
Well, I mean, I think for me, the biggest thing that it shows you is that the idea of being a student athlete, I think, is actually flipped. I mean, when you come to being a student athlete, especially in the NCAA, and at that level of being a player, you are actually an athlete first. You're an athlete student. Athleticism dominates your time in college, and it dominates your time at the university.
Yeah, and you do delve into this issue of payment. For people who aren't as well versed in the big issues at play, what would you break down as the main things they should know?
I think the biggest thing is that, there's a large group of players now who are saying that the NCAA and colleges themselves are making millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, some schools, and players are saying, shouldn't we be able to get a piece of that on some level? Now, they're not saying we should actually get paid, but how else can you incentivize these players to basically benefit from all the money that the schools are making?
Yeah, and you had an interesting discussion with a bunch of the Ole Miss players about this. I want to take a look at this clip here.
Great.
So what are you guys' thoughts on what DT and I were talking about, being in college and making ends meet, and everybody's saying that, now's the time when we should start paying college athletes?
Yeah, I think they should.
And the NCAA, man. I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yeah.
We draw in the crowd. How much are y'all making off us? I mean, it has to be some kind of way where we fairly compensated.
But then people say, you are getting paid. You're getting an education.
At the end of the day, we're playing that game. We're tearing our knees. We're messing up our shoulders. That's us.
Yeah.
Getting the education, that helps, but you gotta think about it. I had 2 knee surgeries. Who knows what type of effects I might have later on in life, what I mean? Like, as far as walking, might need a cane. And I feel like if they can take care of people in the NFL after they retire, we should be getting taken care of also after we graduate too.
So you guys are saying things should change. Where should that change come from? Should that change come from, the university? Should that change come from the NCAA? Should that change come from players? Who's the person that should lead the charge in making that happen?
NCAA rule all. They rule all, but there's power in numbers. Yeah. I tell you what, the first game of the season, if us and Boise State came together as players and decided not to play that game, it'd be a riot. Yeah. It'll be crazy. We have more control than we think we have.
All right, so that's pretty fascinating, them discussing the power they have just to walk off the field. And that touches on this idea of unionizing, which is, of course, something that already a quarterback at Northwestern University has moved to do.
That's right.
Do you think that's the right approach here?
I mean, I think that the NCAA needs to realize they have the ability to really control this conversation, to control the narrative, and they have the ability to kind of switch this in a way that is both beneficial for them, for colleges, and for the players. I think they need to actively engage this, and they can't ignore it. I mean, players are at the point now where they do realize they have power, they do realize they have influence. That's what's happened at Northwestern, and if they don't nip it in the bud, it's going to be a bigger issue in the next year or two. We are the only nation in the world that kind of has this idea of student athletes, where we take these kids to college, where they are, getting these scholarships while universities are making so much money. I think that it's something that's important that we have to address. If you have 15,000 guys that are playing college football, 250 of them are going to get to go to the pros. There's 14,750 of them that are not, or some of them will get to go to camp. These guys are going to have lifelong injuries. They could have lifelong health problems as a result of playing in college. Who's going to take care of those medical bills when they're gone? The university's going to keep making money. What's going to happen to them? So for me, I feel like you have to figure out this balance, and you have to figure out a way to both educate and to take care of these guys.
Yeah, and by the way, the guys who do even make it in the NFL, that's a 3 or 5 year career. So there's an
if they're lucky.
afterlife for them as well. It's a big topic. Yeah,
That's right.
absolutely. Well, Morgan, thank you. There is so much more ground to cover in this topic. I cannot wait for everyone to see your whole show.